What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Half Acre Brewing Company, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Orin, the 2024 vintage. So this is a bourbon and brandy barrel-aged ale that comes in at 13.6% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is just over 1 year old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Cameron, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way. And he sent me 9 beers in total, most of which were from the Midwestern region of the US. And I have 3 beers remaining from said beer mail. This, a barrel-aged beer from Lion's Tail, and then a wild ale from New Glarus. So I'm reviewing this one today because I kind of missed the date. I think this was canned on October 16th of 2024. I'm reviewing this one about a week after the 2025 date. So I forget what day today is. I guess I could just look at my, all right, so it is October 26th today. So I'm actually reviewing this one 10 days past last year's version. So just over, we'll say, a year old. And I'm really stoked for this one. It's Half Acre, and I've slowly realized that Half Acre, to me, is, if not the best, definitely in the conversation for the best brewery when it comes to barrel-aged goodness in the Chicago area. They're up there with Revolution and Old School Bourbon County. And this sounds awesome. They don't have a lot of information here, but they do on Untappd and Instagram. It says, Orin is a complex blend of 3 components aged separately for 9 months, 22 months, and 34 months in a variety of bourbon or apple brandy barrels. With no adjuncts, approach to barrel, time, and blend shape every detail. A special nod to the 34-month component, layering substantial depth to the overall character of this blend with spirit-soaked wood present in the nose and flavor. And then they talk about tasting notes, which I won't review, but I will go to my friends here. So Cameron bought this at Steve's Liquor on 122 Junction Road in Madison, Wisconsin, and he gave it a 4.3. Chris Sheldon, another viewer of the channel and friend of mine, says, always dig me some Orin. He did not rate it. Another friend, John, gave it a 4. Amir gave it, it's just a nice strong ale. No, there's been a lot of people. Julian gives it a 4 or 5. So obviously, it's Half Acre. Obviously, that means it's going to be good. To what level? We're going to find out. So I love apple brandy. I love bourbon. When you got a blended beer like this, awesome. Just over a year old. Let's give it a pour and see what we got going on here. Oh, so it definitely looks like a strong ale. It has more of like a deep caramel color. I'm going to pour this entire thing in because it's a can. It's not like I'm saving it for anybody. Ooh. You know, it smells like candy apple. Like, I guess, and I'm not going to bullshit you. I saw it on the tasting notes right there as I read, like a caramel apple. Huh. All right. And that's from like, what, a foot away from my nose? All right. Let's give it a look-see here. How does that look? Beautiful. Yeah, American Strong Ale, that is a blended barrel-aged beer, sure. It's in the glass looks pitch black. In person, more of a dark brown, like a Dr. Pepper root beer, you know, kind of like deep dark brown color. A finger of this beautiful straight up brown colored head. On the camera, looks a little bit more like a straight up khaki color or even like a mocha color, but it's definitely straight on brown. Some good alcohol legs. Dare I say sheets? Let's see if you kind of see the sheets. Yeah, you see them up there. They're definitely hanging out. So beautiful looking beer, like no doubt about it. Let's get a nose. Yeah, dude. When I smelled it from a foot away, it was caramel apple for sure. So this is one of those caramelized confectionery sugar from the malt, from the barrel, the ABV. It's caramel, it's toffee, it's molasses, it's brown sugar, it's marzipan. It's toasted malt as opposed to roasty. But then that apple brandy and bourbon are bringing straight on like a condensed caramel. It has an apple, kind of almost like a slight green apple as opposed to like a red apple, like a caramel covered like Granny Smith apple. Not that this is infected and, you know, have the off flavors, but just like that apple brandy, to me, it's more like a green apple. The oak is there, big vanilla. Oh man, a little bit of like made my mouth water. A little bit of that leathery tobacco thing I get occasionally. I usually get it in the nose, doesn't carry over the taste all the time. You could smell booziness. Would I say 13.6? No, but 12, 12 and a half, sure. Just layers of complexity. This is on my darker beer fridge at 54 degrees Fahrenheit, so probably in prime drinking temperature right now. Yeah, it has a marzipan, kind of like a nuttiness. Almond. Dark fruit is now coming to the forefront. Figs, dates, raisins. Raisinets. There's a pretty big chocolate component here, but it's not like a sweet chocolate. It's more bittering. 50% cacao bar. Dude, this is all over the place, but in a beautiful way. Is it disjointed to some degree? But I don't care because everything that I get is just, it smells so awesome. If this is another just like absolutely sensational world-class beer, I'm going to lose my shit because Half Acre then jumps to the top. Even though small sample size, having like 4 or 5 barrel-aged beers from them and all of them being absolutely immaculate, you just got to tip your cap, move on. Anyway, thanks again, Cameron. Let's see what this one has to offer. Cheers, everyone. It's tasty, but it falls short of the others. So the two that I reviewed this year, the double barrel 2x4 Benthic, which was I think it was the 2023 vintage. That was awesome. Probably the best barrel aged like imperial stout I've had from them. But then their triple barrel, was it Wilderness of History? One of the best beers I've ever had. Top 5 for sure. Top 3 probably, and maybe number 1. That was a triple barrel barley wine that was just like everything I want in a beer. This, well, I think I gave obviously the triple barrel Wilderness of History a 5 out of 5. I think I gave the double barrel Benthic like a 4.8 or 4.85. This is not going to get there, but it's just another fucking delicious blended barrel aged beer from Half Acre. Just, it is. Body's a bit thin, 13.6%. You want full bodied. This is lower side of full. It's not thin and watery, but it is thin for what I'm looking for of a beer almost approaching 14%. The mouthfeel's nice. It's mild to moderately carbonated, more approaching moderate, but smooth, somewhat creamy. So the mouthfeel, I think, is better just period than the body. Neither of them are bad. It's just you got to pick a beer like this apart, and I'm trying to. The taste, everything carries over, but it's not as impactful on the palate. It's not as intense. Forefront, all that malty goodness. I don't want to rehash everything I said in the nose, okay? This is how these reviews become 25 minutes because I just rehash everything I said in the nose. All that stuff I said in the nose, all the malty goodness is there on the palate. It's a little bit more subdued, a little bit dialed back. I think caramel's dominating more so than anything. Then about midway through the palate, the dark fruits kind of ramp up. And again, it's that raisin, fig, date, maybe even like a sweet dark cherry, but they're dried. But then the second half, the bourbon and apple brandy combine to me to give me this caramel-covered green apple. You could say red apple, but I'm getting a little bit of tartness. So it's like more of like just a caramel-covered, a boozy caramel-covered Granny Smith apple. That's what I'm kind of left with. The vanilla's there, the oak's there. This finishes with a moderate kind of like oak tannin dryness. Mildly bitter, maybe more like in the middle of like mild to moderate, but more dry than bitter. No real hop character. I'm getting a little bit of peppery bourbon that I get sometimes. 13.6%, absolutely chest on fire. Nothing on the palate. And this beer, actually, now I said it's like a semi-dry or like a moderately dry beer. This is full-on dry, and it has that oak tannin popsicle stick kind of dryness that I'm not a huge fan of, but I've grown to accept it and actually enjoy it a little bit over the years. I'd still rather not have that, but it's definitely drying out the palate quite a bit. The flavors are sensational. Yeah, it's a malt bomb. You get the barrels. The problem I have, 2 things. Number 1, dryness is a little bit too much for me from the aspect of the oak tannin, like the perceived oak tannin dryness is a little bit too big. And the body's disappointing because it is thin. It's not watery or anything, but it's thin for what it is. It's still a fucking great beer, no doubt. But I got to keep this one in check. I can't lose my shit with every Half Acre beer, and I got to break it apart. And I got to, more importantly, be honest with you guys. If you have a can of this, and again, it's just over a year old, they may have released like the newest version of this recently. I have no idea. I didn't check their Instagram. I just checked their Untapped. You might want to, maybe drink this fresh. Maybe it's a little bit more vibrant with the barrel. Maybe it's not as thin. Who knows? But this specific vintage, while being very tasty, isn't in the upper echelon for a Half Acre beer, at least in my opinion. It is fucking delicious, though. And I'm going to drink the rest of it. So the cons on this one, thinner body than I anticipated, and that oak tannin dryness or perceived oak tannin dryness, a little bit too big for me. The pros, though, the flavors are awesome. The booze, while noticeable on the chest, nothing on the palate. So scary, drinkable from that aspect. And I love that caramel kind of like green apple kind of vibe to it. But yeah, I mean, this is delicious. It's just not as good as those other ones. And I don't think there's going to be many that compare, especially to that triple barrel Wilderness of History. It's going to be tough for any beer ever to beat that going forward. So anyway, Half Acre, they're Orin, the 2024 vintage. I'm going to probably be right around Cameron's rating. I'm going to give this a high 4.25, go 4.35. Slightly higher than him, but I can't go much higher. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's a damn tasty barrel-aged blended beer that, strong ale, whatever you want to call it. It's really nice. Again, because it's a strong ale or just an ale in general, I'm not getting a lot of roasty, toasty, like stout characteristics. It doesn't drink necessarily like a barley wine. It's kind of like a hybrid of like a stout and a barley wine, but it doesn't have as much roasted malt as I anticipated. More toasty than anything, but a damn tasty beer, no doubt. Price point availability. Now, Cameron sent some notes, and I looked at them before I reviewed this, and it was very simple for this. He said he picked this one up in 2020, or it was brewed in 2024, and he paid $8.99 a can. Now, from my know, with a lot of Half Acre beers, they're like $10+ a can. So he paid a little bit more, and he picked it up at, like I said, Steve's Liquor in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. $9 for something as cool as this, sure. Would I buy this again at almost $10, knowing what I know now? I don't know. It depends. Maybe if I want to share it with somebody. I don't think I'd personally buy it for myself again, but I'd buy to maybe share it and like have other people experience it, kind of like Cameron did with me. He sent me a can of this, so I think that's really cool. But yeah, outside of that, I don't know if I'd go back to it. And availability, it's Half Acre, mostly in Illinois, Chicago area, but obviously they got some cans of this up to Wisconsin. And yeah, probably some of their distribution footprint gets some of these barrel-aged beers. For the most part, you can get Half Acre like regular beer, and then you'll see some of their barrel-aged beer from here from time to time. So anyway, if you've had this one before, whether it's the 2024 vintage, prior vintages, maybe this year's vintage, post a comment section, let me know what you thought about it. Damn tasty Half Acre beer, no issues with it as far as I'm going to enjoy the rest of this and whatnot, but when you're doing the review, you got to break it down, and it doesn't touch those other two Half Acre beers I reviewed recently, but that doesn't mean it's a bad beer. I gave it a 4.35. It's still absolutely delicious, just not up to the standards of those beers, but I don't think many are going to be, especially that triple barrel Wilderness of History. I got to mention it so many times because that beer blew me away, and I never thought drinking that it would be like one of the best beers I've ever had, but shit you not, it was. This, no, it's not, but it's still delicious. I'm going to go drink the rest of this and enjoy every single drop. So once again, huge thanks to Cameron. Cameron, I apologize for not getting to all of the barrel-aged stuff and like the wild ales and whatnot. So many beer mails over the past 4 or 5 months. I'm trying to spread out people's beer mails. So I'm going to try to get to those other two that I have from him before the end of the year, if not early next. But some of these can age and whatnot. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But Cameron, just want to let you know, haven't talked to him a little bit, so I do apologize, good sir. But hopefully when you see this one, you're happy that I finally got to it. So anyway, going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one, cheers.